Oh, hi again. So, previous to this topic, you learned about percent and you know how to convert percent to a fraction, percent to a decimal, and vice versa. Today, we will now find the percent of a number. Look at these flashing signs. It says sale, Black Friday, right? This is the day after Thanksgiving, and this is the favorite day of shoppers because they get discounts. Those 20%, 50%, 60% are parts that are taken away from the actual price. Okay, so that is what we're solving for today. So for this lesson, we're going to learn the following. Number one, there are three strategies, okay, to solve for the percent of a number. And you'll be free to choose whatever strategy works for you. And number two, we will apply what we've learned by solving sample word problems. Okay, let's start. So this is the first strategy, using modeling or diagram. If you like to do drawings, this will help you a lot. So 20% of 65 students got a perfect score in math. Smart kids. How many students got a perfect score? So check this out. Let me underline these two. 20% of 65 students. So it's not the whole number of students. It's only a portion. That's why it's a part that we want to know. And I want to know how big or how many students is 20%. So first of all, make a rectangle or a square and divide it into 10 equal parts. Okay? And each of those parts will represent 10%. 10%, 10%, all of that. If you add all of that, it'll be 100%, right? Okay, if it's 100%, that's all the 65 students, but not all of them got a perfect score. So let's split that 65 into 10. Huh, how do you do that? Okay, check it out. 65 divided by 10. Okay, I could get 6, 65, put a decimal point, 0, and I could get 5. So each small portion is 6.5. Oh, by the way, there's a shortcut in getting 10%. Just move the decimal point one place to the left, and that's already 10%. See, check it out, 6.5, one place to the left. So each of those little parts is worth what? 6.5, 6.5. Now, what do I need to know? But is there a 6.5 student? Don't worry about it because you need not 10%, you need 20%. 20% is two boxes, right? All right, 20% will be represented by those two boxes. Therefore, 6.5 times 2 will be what? 13. So you could say that there are 13 students who got a perfect score in math. Okay, that's method one, modeling, drawing, split into 10, and then distribute and just get the percent that you need. This is now the second strategy in solving for the percent of a number. And you will use a multiplication expression. An expression is just like a number sentence without the equal sign. What is 20% tip or gratuity for a meal of $135? New word for you could be gratuity. Don't be scared, it's the same as tip. Okay? You went for a meal, you had a family meal, and then the waiter is so kind to you, so courteous, and you want to give an extra amount, good for good service. And you will base it on the meal, the amount spent, and you will base it on a certain percent. Now, some restaurants will have it fixed, but let's say you want to be generous and you want to give 20%. So let's write it down. I want to know 20% of the 135 because I'm going to give it to them, to the waiter, all right, or waiters. Now, there are two ways to do this. Okay, let's just evaluate what this means. This means 20% off. Ooh, every time I see that word off, that means times. I will multiply 20% by 135. Okay. So that's already an expression. But guess what, guys? You cannot multiply 20 and 135. Why? Because if you multiply 20 times 135, you will get 270. Does that make sense? You're going to give $270 tip? No, it doesn't make sense. Why? Because you need to convert the 20% to either a decimal, or a fraction. Okay, so why? So that you can solve. Let's start with the decimal. To make 20% a decimal, to the left, remember that? So that becomes 0.20 times 135. Suppose you're scared of decimal. You want to use a fraction. Okay, how do I change 20% to a, remember this, I change this to a decimal, or I could change it to a fraction. Remember, 20% means over 100. There you go. Times 135. So guys, you have two options, whether to do the decimal way or the fraction way. Let's look at the decimal way. The decimal way would be what? 0.20. So you can just outright multiply 135 times 0.20, you will get $27. You can use your calculator or just simply do long multiplication. Now, how do I do this? You could cancel that zero, right? So that becomes 2 tenths. 2 tenths, you could still simplify as what? 1 over 5. 1/5 of 135. Okay, what is 1/5 of 135? It is like getting 135 divided by 5, and you will get, okay, 135 over 5 is also, guess what? Same number, $27. Okay, I repeat, the strategy is write an expression, convert to either a decimal or a fraction, and then just multiply, you'll get the answer. Okay? Method 3 is applied in discounts, and the title is using a proportion. You've learned proportion before. So let's read the problem. How much discount of 20% for a purchase of $65 sneaker? You want to know the discount. How much are you going to save, right? So remember the whole thing. If you're paying for the whole thing, this is 65. But you're not paying for the whole thing, all right? You want to know the part which you're not going to pay. This is the part which you don't want to pay. I'm not going to pay that. It should, so my answer, eventually when I pay the sneakers, it should be less than 65. So this is how you do it. Make a 2 by 2 square or a rectangle, 2 by 2, okay? That actually is two equal ratios or a proportion. We just wrote it in an organized way. Now, label it with the following. Percent over 100, big 100, and is equal to the part over the whole. Those are the labels that you should memorize or, write immediately. So, if you look at the given problem, 20% is this one. 20%, right? You're just writing a fraction. That 20% is 20 over 100. Now, that should be equal to something. What should it be equal to? The part. The part is, I don't know what that part is. That's what I'm going to save. So, this is the X. But I'm going to get that money from where? From which whole? That whole is this one, 65. Okay, just plug in the numbers that you need. Guess what? You're just solving for a missing value in a proportion. And how did we do that in the past? We were looking for patterns, okay? But look at this. At the bottom is where you're going to look for the pattern. But to make our lives easier, you could cancel that 0, cancel that 0. It's like dividing by 10 on top, divide by 10. So think of it as 2 over 10. Now think of 10. How did 10 become a 65? What did I multiply it with? You multiplied it by 6.5. How did you get that? You could do the opposite. 6.5, 65 divided by 10 is 6.5. Okay, so the bottom is times 6.5. You can check with your calculator. Therefore, on top, I will multiply my 2 by 6.5 times 6.5. So what do I get? I get $13. What? What is $13? $13 is called the discount. Discount It is what you're going to save, right? It is the amount you saved. You're not gonna pay this. You're not going to pay that. So what is being asked? We just need to know the discount, $13. So our answer is $13. Now, just a side note, since you're not paying $13, you're not paying 65 rather. So $65 is should be the sneakers. Take away the $13 because you should be paying less, right? Because you want to save money. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 6 minus 1 is 5. So the sneakers is now costing how much? $52 instead of 65. But they're not asking for that. They just want to know that $13 which you actually save. All right, for the next 3 slides, we will apply what we've learned. Let's start again with modeling and diagram. Let's read the problem. 30% of 250 pounds of beef. Okay, so we need to get a portion of this. Again, make your rectangle split into 10. How much is each part? Okay, yes, you know each part is 10%. But if I add all of that, that's going to be 100%. Okay, and the total should be 250 if I need 100%. But I need to divide this by 10 mentally or just by moving the decimal point, right? Move to the left once only. So that's going to be 25. Each small portion is 25, right? Now, what do I need? They are asking 30%. So that means how many little squares? I need 3 of this. Okay, so there you go. 3 of that. That means what do? I will do my 25 times 25 pounds times 3, or 25 plus 25 plus 25, you will get 75 pounds. 75 pounds of beef. Okay? So in the second example, it's a tax problem. You need to pay 8% tax of your total purchase. Okay? And how much did you purchase? Worth 120. How much is the tax? Think of tax like this. Sales tax is an extra amount you pay. When you go to the cashier, you will not just pay 120. They will ask for an extra amount. That extra amount is called tax, and that goes to the government. Okay? And that government will use it for services. Okay, so now let's do this. So I want to know 8% of my 120. That's going to be the tax. Okay, I remember what we did. We changed this to a decimal or fraction. Suppose I want to use a decimal to the left, so that's going to be what? 0.08. 0.08 off, whenever I see the word off means times. And I didn't do anything with 120, keep the 120. Okay, so if you multiply 0.08 times 120, you will get 9.6. What is 9.6? 9.6 is actually money, $9.60. This will be the tax. Okay? What? Am I supposed to pay 960 instead of 120? No. 120 is what you're supposed to pay plus the tax of 960. See how I align the decimal point? That's how you add with decimals, okay? So 0, 60, 9, 129, 60 is what you need to pay after including the tax, okay? This is for letter A question. This is for letter A question. This is for letter B question. Okay, next. Okay, so now we want to use a proportion. Okay, proportion way. Again, make a box. Make a box. Proportion way is two equal ratios. So that's equal. Percent sign over 100 is equal to the part over the whole. Okay. All right. So let's write down 160. Look at this. 160% of 2,000 insects. Wow. I thought percent should be less than 100. But this looks weird. It is 160. It's greater than 100. Is that possible? Yes, it's possible. That means it's beyond one whole, beyond 2,000. So every time you see a percent beyond 100, it should be greater than the whole. Our expected answer should not be less than that. Okay, let's see. So the percent is 160. I put 160 in which box? The one with the percent sign goes here. Where is 2,000? Is it a part or a whole? That's from where I'm going to get the insects, right? So this one, this 2,000 goes at the bottom. Okay, 2,000 insects. Okay, now I want to look for a pattern, and that's the missing. How much insects are there? Okay, so let's look up for a pattern. So at this point, you know that you can cancel the 0 and the 0 there. 16 and 10. Can I simplify 16 and 10? Yes, but you don't need to. But you can already see the pattern. 10 times what becomes 2,000? What did I multiply by 10 to make it 2,000? Yes, times 200. So whatever you do below, you will do the same thing on top, times 200. All right, so 16 times 200, 16 times 2 is 32. Add the two zeros. There you go. 3,200 insects. So they were expecting 2,000 insects. It went beyond that. That's why it's 160%. Take note, any percent with which is greater than 100 will go beyond the whole. And we are right. 3,200 insects. Okay, now let's try to solve this problem. Gregory sees a jacket, $80 jacket, and it's on sale of 30%. How much will it cost after a 7% sales tax? So start with a discount first. Okay, how much will I pay? Now let's make a shortcut on this. So think of the whole thing. 30% is what you are not going to pay. They're going to take that off. So how much percent are you paying? If they take away the 30 out of 100, you're paying what? You're paying, this part is 70% because the whole thing is 100. 70% is what you're going to pay. All right, so let's solve for that. I want to know 70% of $80. That's what I'm going to pay. So 0.70 times 80, 7 times 8 is 56 plus the two zeros. But there are two decimal places. Therefore, I put two decimal places. So $56 is what I'm supposed to pay. But no, it's not just 56. Look at this choice. They're fooling you. You might stop there. Not yet. You still need to pay the tax. How do I solve for the tax? Here we go. Tax. I'm using writing an expression here. I want to know 7% of what? Of that 56. All right. So what do? Again, I use the to the left, 0.07 times 56. And if you multiply 0.07 times 56, you will get $3.92. Excuse me, $3.92. Okay. This is just the tax, additional tax. So how much will I pay now? What will I do with these two? Yes, add them. So $3.92 plus 56, you will get 59. You will get an answer of 59.92. And where is that in the choice? That's your answer. Okay? Good job. Okay, another problem. Antoine and Tess have a disagreement over how to compute 15% gratuity on $46. So that is what they're debating upon. They're debating upon this one. 15% of 46. Okay, they want to know how much. What is this? Gratuity is tip, right? How much tip to give. Now, listen to Tess. It's easy to find 10% of 46 by moving the decimal point one place to the left. So what is he thinking? She's thinking of splitting. Remember the strategy? Okay, divide into 10 parts, and each part, it says 10% of 46 would be what? $4.60. So each of these is $4.60, $4.60, $4.60, $4.60. Okay, you do that 10 times. Okay, and what did he say? Just do it twice, twice of this. So Tess was saying, get these two, and that represents 15%. Do you agree? No, definitely not, because each of this little part is 10%. Okay? So if you add these two, that will represent 20%. And we don't need 20%. We need what? 15%. Okay. So definitely, Tess is wrong. Now, what should Anton's response to Tess to make her correct? Now, um, this is what Anton proposes. Tess, the best way is to find 15% of 45. Now, she wanna use the decimal way. Is that right? Okay, I mean the fraction way. My bad. So 15 over 100, you could simplify that as divide by 5/3, divide by 5/20. Is that the same as 1/5, 1/15? Are they the same? No, because if you multiply them, that's not going to be your answer. So definitely, this is not the correct way. Now, for the next way, Tess, you found 20% of the number because you added the 10 and the 10. Yeah, she's correcting her. No, you can't do that. Okay, now, she's telling, Anton is telling Tess what to do now. You need to add 10% to one half of 10%. So, you need to know the 10%, which is what? $4.60. And then half of that, half of the 10% is what? $2.30. Okay? Why do I need to get half? To get the 5%. Okay? So if I add these two, that's going to be 15%, and that's going to be $6.90. All right? So yeah, it makes sense. That's going to be your 15%. Okay, let's just check the others. Test, the best way is to find 15% of 46 is to multiply. Oh, now she's using a decimal. Okay, is that the correct decimal? Let's see. To the left, so 0.15. And what is this? 0.015. So the decimal is incorrect, so you cannot multiply it. Wrong. Okay. Test, you should use a table with 5% increments to find the gratuity. Each 5% segment has a value of 920. No. If the 10% part, if 10% is $4.60, all right? Half of it will be what? Half of it will be $2.30. $2.30. This is the 5%. This is the 5%. These two are the 10%. Okay? So, you should use the table with 5, okay? And that's going to be 15. Does these two represent 15%? No, it doesn't. So, totally, that is wrong. So, the correct answer is this one. Okay, so now, let's move on to the next problem. Paul needs to find 310% of 72. Which expression should he use? Okay, so notice that this is bigger than 100%. You're expecting a bigger answer, right? Percent to decimals. Is that to the left, or to the right, Yes, it's to the left, So that becomes what? 1 and 2, 3.10 times 72. And where is that? Over there. Okay, last. All right, for the last problem, Mrs. Garcia's students were asked to find 220% of 75. Okay, you know that 220 is beyond it is greater than 100%. Okay, so that's more than one bar. Okay, let's look at the following. And each of the students had different methods. All of the students completed their steps, and which student got the answer wrong. So we want to know which is incorrect. So I multiplied 220 by 75. Did you do to the left, to the left? Let me see. To the left, to the left. Yeah, the point will be there. Yeah, it makes sense. Then just multiply it. Correct. Now, Braden created a table with a column for 100%. The whole thing is 75. Another 100%. This is 75. And he wants to get 20%. 20%. Okay. This is 100%, right? 100%. 100%. Okay. See that? And the total will be 220. Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, now I create a table with the columns for 100%, a 10%, a 10%. Will that add up to 220? No, it doesn't. Okay, next. I divided 75 by 5 to find 20%. Okay, so instead of 10 parts, he divided into 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, so each one represents 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%, 20%. Okay, so each part is what? 15. Okay, 15, 15, 15, 15. Okay, what did it say? Then I added 75 twice. Why? Because 75 is a one whole 75 is represents 100%. Another 75 represents 100%. But remember, you have an extra 20%. Where will you get that 20%? From that 15 which you added there. Okay? To get my answer. I added. See that? So plus the 15. Okay? So that's going to be 15, 1, 14, 15, 16. But I don't need to solve that yet. Okay? So the answer is 165. That still makes sense. Check. So which one doesn't make sense? It's Colton. Therefore, this is the answer. All right. So hopefully you will solve more problems and have the confidence. Good luck.